Malcolm Oliver, you are president of the Jowett Car Club.
Correct, yes.
We're here at Cannon Hall near Barnsley, and can you tell me what today's rally is celebrating?
Well, we're celebrating today in this beautiful countryside 100 years since the formation of the Jowett Motor Manufacturing Company.
How important is it to mark this centenary?
Well, I think it's very important. I think it's witnessed by the number of vehicles that are here today. The people have come from all over the place and indeed all over the globe. And by the range of models and the quality of models that are here today, I think you'll appreciate just how important it is to the club members.
Actually, how many cars are exhibiting here today?
We haven't had a head count, but we think it's about 160 or so, which is a tremendous performance.
And how far have some people travelled to get here?
Oh, some people have driven their cars from Europe. They've come from Australia, Canada, New Zealand. We've had a really good support, It makes it all well worthwhile.
How do you see the future of the Jowett Car Club?
Well, if anything like today's to go by, it's got a very strong future. We have a very strong organising national committee that look after the fundamentals of it, and as you can see today, it's so encouraging, and there are so many cars still to come.
Thank you very much, Malcolm.
My pleasure.
All the best to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye now. Michael Cock-Osborne, I believe you're somewhat of an authority on Jowett cars.
Certainly not the authority at all, but I do know something about the earlier ones.
So what can you tell us about this one here, which I believe is your own?
That's 1916. It's one of the first cars with an actual steering wheel. The earlier ones have a tiller.
And do you rally it regularly?
I've had it for almost 20 years, and it has been to only about half a dozen rallies because I have had some mechanical problems. I've had to do a lot of work on it over the years, but it's, touch wood, it is okay now.
Now, you've mentioned that this is the first with the steering wheel and not a tiller. Now, just behind you, there's another vehicle which has a tiller. Can you tell us a little bit about this vehicle?
Yeah, well, tillers were very popular on the early cars generally because it was very easy to get in and out of them. You could get access through that door, stand up here, sit down and drop this down, and they were popular because you could, what they called, cover up, put a blanket there and keep warm in bad weather.
And from a driver's point of view, how easy are they to drive with the tiller?
Quite easy. Once you get used to them, they are very easy, very similar to a steering wheel. You can manoeuvre them just as easily, basically.
Now, we're celebrating 100 years since the sale of the first Jowett car. Would this have been one of the first cars that was sold?
Yes, it would. They only made 48 before the First World War. And in 1910 they started production, and they made probably only about 12 or 13 cars between 1910 and 1912.
It's lovely to see these vehicles here. What else are you hoping to see at the rally here today?
Well, the range of vehicles is absolutely second to none. There's about 160 cars here, representing every type of Jowett.
Do you have a particular interest in these older vehicles?
I do really, yes. Anything before 1930, that's my forte really.
Do you have any other vehicles here today besides this one?
I have another one, a sports special, that was made in 1923.
Well, thanks for talking to us today.
Not at all.
Great. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks Michael. Yeah, welcome to England.
Thank you.
And the Jowett Rally.
Thank you.
Brought along a lovely Jowett car. How long have you owned this car?
3 years.
And did you buy it from England or?
No, in Holland from a friend of mine.
Do you like it?
Yes. Yes.
And how did you get here this weekend? How have you come here with it?
By car.
All the way?
No. About Hull to here.
So you travelled to Hull?
Yes.
And then you've
by
driven
car.
from Hull?
Yes, by car.
Marvellous.
Yes.
That's excellent. Do you enjoy your car?
Excellent.
Do you use it regularly?
Sorry?
Do you use it?
Vaak gebruikt.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Only in summertime.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is not a winter car.
No. No. Are there many Jowett cars in Holland?
Oh, I don't know. We sind hier, we zijn gekomen met 5 cars.
We came with 5 cars,
Yes.
5 Jowett.
And Javelin and Jupiters. 1 Javelin.
Right. Did you go on the scenic run yesterday?
Yes.
What did you think of our weather?
It's bad, like always. It's always.
It's not so good.
Oh no! Well, look, it's a great pleasure to see you here.
Oh,
in
thank you.
England. I'm really pleased you brought your Jowett.
Okay.
Thank you for talking to us.
Thank
today.
you very much.
Thank you very much.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
you too.
Thank you very much.
Ian Howell, you own this rather splendid Jowett motor car. Can you tell us exactly what kind of vehicle it is?
Yeah, it's a 1930. As far as we can tell, it's certainly 1930. We believe it to be a long 4, but there's a debate going on today as to whether it may be a Black Prince or it may be a Grey Knight. They were all similar vehicles, but with differing mostly in the trim and minor details such as spoke wheels instead of Sankey wheels and nickel-plated fittings rather than just plain brass or painted fittings.
So interestingly, it's actually a near relative to Jan's down the road here that we've
Yep.
just been speaking
It
to.
is. It's only about, his is about 600 chassis numbers before mine, but there are a lot of significant differences, and we're debating between us as to whether or not his is as original as he thinks it is.
Yeah, I must apologise as well. I called him Jan. It's actually Jaap,
Jaap,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, right. Sorry, Jaap. It looks like you've had to, or you're having to replace an awful lot of the bodywork. Was it in particularly bad condition?
Yes, it's the floor level. It's pretty sound, but above that, it was largely woodworm and rot. And there's some pieces there just to show you the state of things as they were. But I've replaced the bulkhead is original, but from there back, it's new, and most of it will be new when I finish with it.
Do you work from manufacturer's drawings, or do you measure up another vehicle?
No, well, neither. What I'm having to do is to do it forensically and just literally make a replica of each piece of wood as I take it off, doing it one piece of wood at a time.
When are you hoping to have it entirely finished?
My wife keeps asking me that question as well. I think that if I get a good run at it, I should probably have it running certainly this time next year and roadworthy. But that all depends on all sorts of circumstances.
So when it's finished and running, what are you going to do with it?
I'm going to use it. That's been the plan all the way through. It's not. I will take it to shows and things, but I want to use it as a more or less an everyday vehicle as well, just for fun.
Very good.
And I'm not. I keep saying, and I've said so on the website, that I'm not restoring it. I'm repairing it.
Well, I wish you well with it, Ian. It looks
you
like
very
it's a
much,
good project, and thanks for talking to us today.
It
Thank
keeps
you.
me out of mischief. Thank
man.
you for talking to us.
Thanks, Ian.
Bye bye now.
Cheers, thank you. I have here Rachel and Sarah Young, and they've come along with 2 rather splendid Bradford vehicles. Let me ask Rachel first. Tell me something about your Bradford. Is it a pickup?
Yeah, it's a Bradford lorry, 1951.
Who actually owns it? Do you own it
My
yourself?
dad owns it, I just drive it.
Okay. I'll ask Sarah now to tell me a little bit about this Bradford van.
Yeah.
It's your dad's, is it?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you drive it?
I have, yeah.
Do you like it? Do you like driving it?
It's not bad,
How does it compare to a modern car?
quite hard.
Is it?
Yeah.
Rachel, do you drive that one?
Yes.
What's it like to drive?
Quite difficult. The steering's a bit, well,
Does it wander around all
yes.
over the road?
It wanders around quite a lot.
Does it? Does yours do that as
Yeah.
well? I see. Now, what do you particularly like about your little truck?
I just think it looks quite pretty.
Good. Yes.
It runs well.
Who painted it?
My dad.
He's done a good job, hasn't
Yeah.
he? Very good. What have you done on it?
I didn't do anything on this one.
Okay. But which one did you do some work on?
On the green utility, on a other Bradford.
Oh, right. You've got a utility as well?
Yeah, next to that one.
How many has your dad got?
I think we've got about 9.
9?
9 Bradfords, I think.
Did you go on the road run yesterday, the
Yeah.
scenic route?
I didn't drive though.
Didn't you?
No, we went in. All 4 of us went in the utility together.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think of the weather?
Wasn't very nice.
Wasn't, was it?
No.
No, it was terrible. You go to a lot of rallies with your
Yeah.
cars? Yeah.
Mhm.
So where's your next rally?
Welland.
Welland. And do you drive them on the road to Welland? Or
No,
do you
take
train
them on the lorry.
Thank you very much, both of you.
That's okay.
Enjoy the rest of the day. Nice talking to you. All the very best
Thank
to you.
you.
Okay, thank you. Keith Patchett, you own this rather splendid Jowett R4. How long have you owned it?
About 18 months now. It's only had about 6 owners in its life because quite a bit of its time it was laid up. It was rebuilt by a chap called Arthur Rutland, now unfortunately passed away. He spent 12 years rebuilding the front part of it after it had been involved in a road accident.
Can I just ask though, these are quite rare vehicles, aren't they? Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the R4?
Yeah, Jowett's in late 52, early 53 were having various problems, technical problems and supply problems, and somebody came up with the idea of making a cheap, light sports car, cheaper than the Jupiter. And bearing in mind then that the new sort of technology of plastic laminates was coming in, and they took the parts of various cars that they were developing, the CD range, the engine from the Jupiter, suspension from the Jupiter, and this modern technology, and they combined together to make this range of cars. But as it happened, they started in early 53, and they actually only ever made 3. They made a steel body prototype. They took moulds from that and made the car you see here, which is the second one. And by October, with the motor show, they had the steel body car giving demonstration runs outside the motor show in Earl's Court. They had this one on the stand, finished and running, and they had the third one in their showrooms in Albemarle Street.
And how was the car received by the general motor market at the time?
It was actually very well received. It was loaned to a couple of magazines, and there were reports taken on the motor show, and all of them were very positive.
And what's the performance of this car like compared to its contemporaries?
Actually very good. I worked it out. It's got around about 60 horsepower. It weighs about 1300 weight, and that gives something like 100 brake horsepower per tonne.
Do you use it on a regular basis?
Yes, it's in use. It's on the road all the year round. I mean, I was using it on New Year's Day in the snow. And it creates an awful lot of attention because most people just don't know what it is. You know, you won't have seen one, but very rarely. So it's a good car, little car.
Well, thanks for bringing it along, Keith.
That's
and
all right. No, it was jammed in gear yesterday. So
on the
scenic run.
Scenic
yeah,
run.
It's one of the problems that since the design was done in a rush, they didn't quite get all the bits to tie up, I don't think.
Right.
And we was another 60 years of wear and tear. There is a slight problem with it, getting jammed in gear, basically.
Thanks again for
Right, thank you for asking the questions.
Thank you. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Ian Aitken-Kemp, you're the owner of this rather splendid convertible Jowett. Can you explain exactly what model it is, please?
Yeah, this is a one-off. In 1934, the London agents of the Jowett Car Company, who were called Godfrey's, they ordered a rolling chassis. They gave it to a coach builder in Thames Ditton in Surrey, and they put this body on, and it was a prototype to be followed by others, and they never made any more.
What a shame.
So it's a one-off, unique. It is regarded as the prototype of the Jowett Weasel, which you may have seen around here, which is very, very similar, and that came out a few months from the factory in Bradford after this was done down in London.
Right.
We think that possibly the Jowett factory called this one up and said to Godfrey's, don't have any more made because you're going to be competing with us, and then largely copied it and produced the Weasel. We think, no proof.
Splendid. And how long have you owned it then, Ian?
Since 2006. I bought it in 2006. It was in a barn of a farmer in Shardlow.
Really?
Yes.
Condition?
Reasonably good, because he had laid it up 40 years earlier, and he had greased all the chrome, and he had put it up on blocks, and he'd put oil in the bores so that it wouldn't deteriorate.
Good man, him. Gosh. So how much work?
His mice got into the upholstery.
So apart from reupholstering it, what else have you had
It
to
was
do?
red and black when I bought it, and that was done in 1960. These are as near as possible to the original colours, which was green and white.
It's a very pretty car, isn't it? Very, very attractive. Do you enjoy it?
Well, we've only been out in it twice, and on the second time, of course, the engine partly failed. Once we've sorted that issue out, we're going to enjoy it immensely, I believe. Yeah.
Quite unusual for Jowetts to fail. They seem to be pretty reliable. Is it? It's not too serious, I hope.
No, this is not the original engine in it. That's at home. It needed work doing on it, and I had the opportunity to buy another engine which was supposedly overhauled and okay, and I put that in, and that's what's gone wrong. I mean, it'll drive, but it starts rapidly putting smoke out the back.
Okay.
So, you know.
What do you particularly like about this car?
The fact that it is a one-off and unique. There are no others of this shape. That's what I like about it.
Good. Well, thanks for talking to us about it today. It's really nice. Thank you.
See all these. It's a marvellous sight to see all these guys.
David Kennedy, you own this rather splendid looking Jupiter. What can you tell us about the vehicle?
Well, this was a car exported with 6 others to South Africa in 1954. One of the later ones produced with a boot at the rear. And I bought it from a chap in 1972 or 3. And it had been discarded because they couldn't get parts, and actually dumped on a farm in what they call a donga, which is a riverbed which floods periodically. And it had a Riley 1.5 engine in it, and the chassis had been cut to pieces, and the children had been butchering it with axes and things. It was in a pretty poor state.
So it needed a bit of work.
It needed a lot of work.
And how did you get that work done?
I did it all myself, with the exception of the upholstery of this seat. Otherwise, I made the internal upholstery, I re-welded the chassis, and I did everything myself.
How did you get a new engine for it then?
Fortunately, the chap that had originally owned it had also collected javelins and had 5 javelins and assorted engines. And when I bought it from him, he was the one who took it out of the river, and he let me have a proper engine for it.
What was the most serious problem with it when you tried to reclaim it?
Oh, without any doubt, the chassis and the parts which were missing. Many parts were missing, and of course you couldn't buy spares in South Africa. And oddly enough, the person you'd just been speaking to, Ian Aitken,
yes,
he was managing the parts for Jowett here, and he helped me a great deal in sending stuff out to me in South Africa.
Right. So how long has it been back in this country then?
1992 we came back and brought it back with us, yes.
And do you run it on a regular basis?
Oh yes, it's run and it's done all the Jupiter tours through France, Germany and so on. And we do run it. We don't cover a huge mileage, 1,000 a year or so.
I believe you're connected with the Owners Club. Could you just give us a bit of explanation about that?
Yes, the Jowett Car Club has an affiliated club, the Jupiter Owners Club, which was formed in 1962. And I happened to have a Jupiter in those days, and it was parked in London one day, and I found a card under the windscreen saying, if you're interested in helping join a club and forming it, then please contact me, Mr. Stan Blither. And so the club was founded in 62.
Right. Did you go out on the scenic run yesterday?
Oh, I did indeed, yes. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't very good. But the scenery, had we been able to see it, was superb.
Excellent. Good answer.
Yeah.
Finally, what do you particularly like about the car?
Oh, I think the lines are quite unique, really, and the fact that it has an aluminium body means that the survival rate of these cars is extremely high, as you can see here today.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, I think, that we've got all these cars here.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, David, thank you very much indeed. It's a credit to you, this car.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Gordon Cooper, you own this rather interesting Jowett. Can you explain exactly what it is?
It's a Radford body Jupiter. You probably heard this story from other people here that the Jowetts produced the first batch of cars just as chassis with engine, and then they sent them out to various bodybuilders, some of them all over the world, who put their own interpretation of a Jupiter body on them. This is one that went to Harold Radford in London, and he then put this body on. The body origin is a little bit unknown. I've got letters from Harold Radford, not to me personally, but to other owners, who said that it was done to a Norwegian design.
Right. So is it unique? Is this the only one with this style of body?
It is, yes. Harold Radford only did. He had some work in. They did some work for Jowett in the development of the Javelin, but basically he only did 2 chassis.
How long have you actually owned this vehicle?
30 years.
And what condition was it in when you bought it?
It was sold to me as a runner, but that was a very loose interpretation of being a runner.
Is it a steel body or is it aluminium?
Aluminium body. Aluminium body.
And does it drive well?
Yes, we've taken it on 2 tours in France, and when we leave this rally on Tuesday morning, we're doing a tour around Scotland with a car with the rest of the group that are going.
Well, Gordon, I hope the weather stays like this for your tour around Scotland. I'm sure you'll enjoy it in this lovely car. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you very much. Dennis Sparrow, can you tell us something about this car here of yours? I don't know much about it myself. Just tell me about it.
Well, it's the 1952 Le Mans class winner, driven by Marcel Beckhardt and Gordon Wilkins.
So this is a really historical car?
Yes.
Right. How many of these type of car did Jowett actually build?
Of this one, which is the R1, they produced 3.
And was it purely a race circuit car or a road car?
The car was built for Le Mans. You know, because in 1950 they entered more or less a standard bodied Jupiter, and it won its class. So for 51 they decided that they needed a better car.
So just how important was this car in the history of Jowett's?
Well, certainly very important for post-war. But of course it was only post-war that they were seriously into any racing. You know, I think it was all perhaps privately entered before the war. And
yeah. Just remind us again how successful it was at Le Mans.
Well, it won the 1.5 litre class, and that was the 3rd Jupiter, because they won in 50, 51 and 52.
So they were a very, very successful small manufacturer of cars, weren't they? What do you particularly like about this car?
To drive it, it's not like any other Jupiter I've driven. Performance is obviously much better, but also the handling is just absolutely precise. There's no body roll in the way that heavy standard bodies have.
Yeah. Do you use it for competition work yourself?
No, I own it with Peter Dixon, and he has raced it. We got it on the road, or should I say the track, for the 2001 Le Mans Legends race.
Yeah.
And then at Goodwood, again we were invited to race there.
Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, Dennis.
The van version, called the Bradford after the Yorkshire town where Jowetts were made, would carry awkward heavy loads. Somebody even built a Jowett engine into a Bristol tractor because of its reputation for slogging reliability.
Henry Sanderson, you have here a portable engine which to me looks like a Jowett Bradford car engine. Can you explain a bit about it?
It is very similar to the Bradford engine, yes. During the war it was originally built as a stationary engine for use powering saw benches like this to our left, also generators and water pumps. And then after the war, this engine, with a few minor alterations, was used in the Bradford van, hence the similar appearance.
Right, right. So it wasn't originally designed purely for the van? It
Not
was
for the van, no.
as a stationary
Designed
engine?
as you see it here.
Oh,
and then used in the Bradford after the war.
Yeah, yeah. This particular one, how long have you owned it?
About 4 years.
Is it reliable?
It's reliable, yes, I'm happy with it. I mean, it has been a bit temperamental today. I think that's just the cold air blowing by it that's done that, that's all.
And what is it actually driving? Can you explain this equipment here?
What we've got here is some machines of mine that with me, that I have in my collection. First it runs down to a gearbox, and that then runs up to this shaft.
Yes.
Behind us, and then
so that's like a line shafting you would get in a factory, really?
Precisely, yeah.
Yes.
Only much shorter, obviously. And that is off to the sanding machine and the drill.
Do you find many of these around, or is it a rarity?
These stationary engines are quite rare now, because after the war many of them went to the scrapyard. After the armed forces didn't need them anymore.
Okay. It's so unusual to see what essentially to me looks like a car engine that's doing another job.
Oh yeah, I mean they're quite easily a mistake for the Bradford engines because they are very similar.
Very similar, aren't they? Indeed, yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
You're
indeed.
welcome.
Thank you. Thanks. So we've come to the end of the rally at Cannon Hall near Barnsley. It's been a splendid day. The weather's been really good. It's been far better than the atrocious weather yesterday. There's been a fantastic array of different cars. The best of the Jowett marks. It's been a really superb rally. Hope you've enjoyed it. So from me, goodbye.